Today, I'm going to talk about my ability to tune in and channel the ancestral realm within this physical world, and how certain groups in power prevented me from a very young age to enter the astral and metaphysical realms. But I found a way to bypass these realms, which enabled me to infiltrate the system that connects every living being with something like a huge computing server room. To enter the system, not through a laptop or a computer, but just with my human body and existing consciousness, through offset and split the very foundations of the crooked game and its contestants in this world, making evil controllable and aware of its own existence, binding it to its very own karmic law of attraction. That was my life task. When I channel, it happens always in harmony with the karmic inputs, and in consequence, there is an equivalent of output taking everything existing into account. So stay tuned. But before, I'd like to thank you for averaging 50 views on my last two videos. Seriously? I was targeting 9 million views over the course of one night, since it represents the figure of my homeland, Switzerland. Either the internet is seriously censored, or my content quality needs fresh up. Nonetheless, thank you for your comments, likes, and subscriptions. I certainly appreciate them. Now, let's dive into how it feels to channel the code of the universe. And at the end of this post, we'll do a short exercise. I was going to air a very long version of how I channel, but my worry was expressing myself inadequately and you missing my point. It's extremely complex and it takes literally everything into account. So here's my short version. My ability to enter different spheres and parallels in this existing physical world is something you cannot buy and account for with money, and being born in a loving and caring family is not to be taken for granted. It's a karmic birth of right that lets you choose when and where your spirit connects with body. Thus, the ever-present stream of love goes beyond this body of existence, including humanity itself. When channeling, it feels like storytelling, incredibly profound and detailed in every aspect of my life, connecting past and future in the here and now, while being conscious and present in the very moment, reflecting the ever-present ancestral love. Sometimes it makes me laugh, other times it just leaves me in pure amazement, and other times it makes me break out in tears. Within this physical world, everything and everyone is bound to the coherent code of existence. And if you fine-tune your awareness and consciousness, you might find yourself reading your very own code of existence, everywhere, at any point in time. I'll give you an example. It's one out of thousands that I have experienced. Picture me in the kitchen preparing a delicious meal while watching a documentary on my cell phone. It's just a standard life situation, but if you think about the preconditions that were necessary in first place for me preparing food in the kitchen, took forever and a day to come into existence. So using a cell phone adds a significant layer of complexity, since everything that was created by the human hand is bound to the code of existence. To me, reading and channeling within my four walls opens up many facets of reality, but it doesn't mean that I'm confined to that select space. Its outreach is rather boundless. The same applies when being outdoors. So every tool, every item, whether kitchen counter, cupboards, or utensils, reflect the code of our existence in the here and now, being dynamic and adapting to all conditions regarding its angle of perspective, shape, material, and placement of the object. Inherently, every manipulation and placement of object is coherent with the code of the universe. This fact allows me to trigger a shift within my perception of reality, turning the kitchen into something like a planetarium. More often than ever, the given space, whether it is a kitchen or any other existing place outdoors, converts into my personal command center. Simultaneously, I then inherently shift in shape into a commanding entity. I then become something like a chief general in command, or something outside the existing realm of a human being, addressing real-life problems that we're facing in this world right now. What I just said seems very perhaps quite random, mental, or even bizarre, but you would never understand this insanely complex situation unless you are me. Thus, no matter where I am or what I do, the code that connects to my surrounding is ever present. I know this sounds crazy. Key is not to treat the event separately, but something that merges into your existence. But for instance, in endless quest to reveal the ancestry of humanity, I stumbled upon something quite marvelous. This, what you're about to see, is a very long story short. Here's an example of granite, where my family name is visible in a quite artistic way. I found it in a random kitchen, in a place in Spain where I'm renting, reinforcing my physical presence of spirit within body in this life and my pursuit of honest beliefs on my righteous path. But this is just my latest finding. Growing up in a seemingly insignificant hometown in the Engadine Valley is where my journey of ignorance started that led me on my path of wisdom. Along my path, I experienced incredible layers of complexity of parallel storytelling, and I found my life inclusive within all existing matter. I am the man of rock, and my life has been formed and forged by the pure and raw force of nature. As I walk along this new millennium as spirit confined within body, I find myself in between the eons of time. Rocks dating over 100 million years tell my story in the here and now, encoded and decoded through my very own existence, finding myself mirrored as art within the architectural and natural structures. The talk is not about some man made chiseled sculptures or statues as found in museums. I'm talking about marble and granite older than 100 million years brought to surface and converted to tiles that have been placed, for instance, in my parents' bathroom. Going for number one and two has never been so exciting. So if you gotta go potty, now's the time, because it's getting pretty rough. And I came long time ago to the conclusion that my super state of consciousness within my body of flesh and bones, unequal among billion human beings, causes envy and ferocity within the eye of providence, and subsequently within the powerful groups in our layers of secret or not secret societies. Nonetheless, and undoubtedly, it arose a state of chaos within their structures and the scientific community. But I'm certainly not in for playing games, neither am I keen for betting. Surely I do play on my Switch or PS4, but when doing so, it will burst your concept of life since I'm able to bridge and channel virtual into reality. For instance, when being outdoors, I'm channeling and reading literally from anything existing, made by human hand or not. It's very high pace and the dynamic changes within the matter of a second. But remember, the information perceived is bound to my personal life and what I experience. And inherently, anything or anyone piercing my personal bubble makes a conscious decision to get involved. I owe no one an explanation, but consider it done. I've long paid my dues to society and laid my cards on the table. Imagine you connect to a device that enables you to see through my eyes. You then become part of my reality, making a conscious and aware connection. And depending on who you are and if you have my permission to connect to my body, my reality will start seeing you as an intruder. The code of existence then reacts instantly and time shifted to your action in my here and now, because the code is omnipresent. What you then see and perceive through my eyes when I'm channeling will break you immediately or in the foreseeable future, because its boundless power and intensity reach out to get you. It's as if the universe becomes alive and addresses upon your actions of dishonor. See, the eye of providence has long time made its connection into our sensory organs, connecting humankind and every living being into something like a huge computing server room. It sees and feels what each one of us perceives, because our human bodies are no different than a sender and receiver, just like an antenna. And in the same way, a human body is easily controllable and manipulated. Our bodies may operate at low frequencies, but they are by means not isolated from the environment. So, while some of these insidious perverts are treating humanity as guinea pigs, observing the world through our eyes, within their own boredom, they're playing full humanity at no cost, but the one of humanity itself. Teasing the fundamentals of human rights, now more than ever, they're trying to slime back their way into society, caressing gently your skin. No, wait, it's caressing gently your skin. Wireless can be so useful. But my conscious decision not to become an involuntarily humanoid is not being respected. From my very young age, their programmed scripts prevented me from entering naturally the metaphysical world, It's done by reading brainwaves and sending highly precise impulses by the millisecond and preventing brain synchronicity and coherence during sleep and meditation. Or in my worst case, before the pandemic up until now, and still persisting, provoking complete absence of sleep by inducing tinnitus, also known as ringing in the ears. Inducing severe frustration and changes in personality, these tactics are criminal and should have no place in civil society. Back in 2013, when living on Vancouver Island, an incident happened while walking my dog Peanut, a black Rhodesian Ridgeback. She was truly a beautiful creature, bringing joy to me and my now ex-wife Sarah at the time. So while walking on the street, I was attacked by a heavy load of wireless bundle. It felt like someone stuck me in a microwave and roasted me for my longest 10 seconds of my life. You cannot even remotely think of what I went through. My life has been thrown heavily off track. You can't even imagine. See, I've never done something bad in my life, and I treated everything and everyone with respect. The only thing I can think of when living on the island was when I attended public gatherings exposing the truth. I knew that my knowledge and insights of life might expose a circle of a few. That was my logic answer to why I was undergoing these criminal attacks, and still am, and I found myself within the darkest hours of my life. I had no other choice than hushing for exile and restart my life in Switzerland, but upon my arrival, I felt that something was not quite over yet. Being back in my homeland put me certainly in a place of advantage. Luckily, I still had my old connections and my good reputation to rely on. But then, also something unexpected happened. It's where my journey as a light warrior truly began, and believe me if I say that I'm a fighter. When a major shift in consciousness occurs, it's not just that a new door opens when another one closes, but in my case, the gateway to the universe started to unfold. Be certain if I say that karma really exists. In 2018, I reached as a silent light warrior the summit of the pyramid. As a nobody, I pierced the construct of lies that keeps our society in darkness. And because I've grown up in a family with honest and solid work ethics, there's nothing to pick and fish. Thus, my position in society makes me a select tool and a unique opportunity for the wicked to wash their dirty deeds clean. When looking at my lifeline, there is no evidence that I lacked quality of life, but I have undoubtedly been a victim of unsocial and criminal gameplay and its contestants. I am certainly aware that many of us around the world are experiencing different facets of war and humanitarian catastrophes. But it is a disturbing fact that within our established society, honest civilians are vulnerable to random attacks. It seems that mind controlling humanity is obviously not enough. Right now, I'm in Spain recuperating and rearranging my life that has been completely sabotaged from day one. I reached the limits of what I'm willing to accept. So I pulled the sword and pen to start my personal crusade against the unrighteous. See, they say the pen is stronger than the sword. Then my pen is the sword. It's sharp, fluid, and it cuts quite deep. Perhaps that was not one of my smartest moves, since I made the liars my biggest enemies. And I knew it's not going to be an easy one. Thus my deeds and the witness of time became my only shield to protect me. Ironically, as a former sales consultant of luxury timepieces, time has become my biggest ally. See, my good deeds are endless. No felonies, no stealing, no cheating, no prostitutes, nor this nor that. It's just a mere illusion existing in people's minds, shaping and forming their very own reality. Indisputably, I decided to keep my clean slate and leave the world with it. The start of the pandemic was the start of World War III. While the Eastern world is busy with their version of World War II, digital war on human beings has shifted worldwide. It has always been present, but certainly not to this extent. Humanity encounters itself in a major shift that is not fought at war fronts, but inside of each individual. It's utmost important not to give in to seduction, standing for good values and fighting strong on the good side of life. It makes it worthwhile. The system is designed to catch you and make you submissive to it. It's there to tempt you. It will seduce you and will try to make you fall and give in order to preserve its structures. The facets and its complexity are endless and will trick you without you even noticing. But the beauty of the universe resides within its unity and conformity. Although at times it seems pretty rough, it is always trying to reach a state of balance. And since I'm not playing the game of life, I most certainly cannot lose it. This makes you people out there automatically, robotically, and inevitably my second biggest threat in society. You, the good ones, and the truth seekers. You see me as a threat, and in between all the lies and manipulations, it will put you on an endless quest to find out the truth. But know that the automated and invisible system is out to fool you and keep you at bay. It will communicate to you. It will make you believe your own construct of lies. It will bring you off track and it will perform divide and conquer, no matter with whom. The crooked are still reorganizing themselves, hidden in every structure of our known society and dispersed within the social pyramid. While a few in control rule the world through the weak of our society, murderers, thieves, and rapists and pedophiles are put in key positions of power to make them submissive, compliant, and controllable. And here comes the catch 22. In order to keep and preserve their power, these insidious people do not hold back in society from fishing you in their trap. I could not disagree more to this unsocial scheme. Seriously, it feels like putting pedophiles in charge as primary school teachers. Have you not noticed that fooling the public has never been so organized and structured as it is now? On top of everything, a new anarchistic parasite has come to life, feasting along the greedy that realized to share the cake with the mob, and accordingly, everything is supposed to go back to business as usual. As the stagnant and perpetual politics are heavily involved in exorbitant complex bureaucracy, and the media broadcasters are too busy defrauding fake news, the chaos is quite perfect, but with a huge flaw. And so our tax money is paying over and over for a lethargic apparatus that is content with its sweet end of its share. While we are involuntarily paying for the politicians' prostitutes, their endless hearings and business lunches, they're still making deals with the highest bidder. The old got just replaced with the same crap and more empty promises. And as long as everyone is pigging out and stuffing themselves, nothing will ever change. Sitting in parliament has never been so vogue and frustrating at the same time. Power to the people, it's time to cut the shit, because as stock markets grow and plunge, your valued time, work, and money just got eaten once more by the bull and bear, leaving you nothing but a pile of shit. And in the bigger scheme of the perpetual left and right, the war on human population becomes again and again the tool to divide people in unity. Power to the people, not electrocution to the people. I'm not saying the system is bad, it has its good side, but along it comes a major fault. It brings an extremely diversified society to the table with an enormous social gap. And it's quite perverted if you think about the notion of how this gap wants to be filled. As long as humanity does not address greed, indifference, and the reproduction rate of rabbits, the machine will go on in an epic fight where the ones in control of the guilty masses play an unfair game of thrones. I could go on and on about it, but let me make a halt. Let's set instead our intentions to create meaningful and positive thoughts of coherence. We are now approaching the end of this post, and as mentioned, here comes the exercise to tune you in. Perhaps you have guessed that it's not going to be a session of relaxation, but once you tune in, you will become aware of your mind, thoughts, and your subconscious. They become somewhat like an initial gateway for channeling. So beware, you might find relaxation, or you also might find yourself on a roller coaster. Now that's up to your ancestral spirit. In this simple exercise, we're trying to connect with matter, but essentially the ultimate goal is to completely open up your filters and gradually fine-tune them. When you're ready, relax and breathe. Now, take a moment to reflect and look at your space. If your first thoughts are revolving around the fact that we lack tribute and attention to our valued goods, then we're on the same page. The same applies if you just cherished your belongings. After all, they're here to ease your life and make you happy. But remember, it's not about materialism. Instead, we are visualizing material and reading it like a book, because attached to them are feelings, emotions, or even memories. If you can't take off your vision aid, now start observing again and pay attention to all of the surrounding objects. They have been placed by you or a beloved one, reflecting the code of coherence. What you're looking at is matter coherent with mind and code. Move freely, sit, stand, kneel. Absorb what you're looking at and be fully immersed. The key for success is to align your thoughts with your vision, no matter how abstract and bizarre your thoughts are. Move, align, and pause within the room according to your thoughts. You're now immersed in coherent space. It communicates to you. You ask, it will answer. Peace.